A landlord or tenant must provide written notice if they intend to terminate the lease. To do this, a lease termination letter is issued. If you're a property owner or a manager looking for information on how to draw up an early termination letter, then you've come to the right place. Here, we're going to provide all the information you need to create a lease termination letter or notice to vacate. Welcome back, Loopers. My name is Sydney and I'm a content creator here at DoorLoop. Let's hop right into this video with the basics. What is a lease termination letter? A lease termination letter is a formal letter that either a tenant or landlord gives to the other party to inform them that the lease is being terminated. It's usually used for standard one-year contracts and month-to-month leases with no end date. The type of termination letter that is used will depend on the kind of agreement in place. 30-day termination letters are generally used for one-year leases. In some states, a landlord or renter must provide 60 or 90-day notice. It's important to note that this document differs from an eviction notice. When a landlord wants to evict a renter for violating the conditions of the lease, they'll send them an eviction notice. Tenant-provided lease termination letters are frequently utilized when both parties have complied with the conditions of the contract. So why use a lease termination letter? Providing a lease termination or vacate letter is the best interest of all parties involved. If you do not submit a lease termination letter, the court could rule in favor of the tenant regardless of the predicament. The law does not favor landlords who evict their tenants without providing any prior notice or tenants who leave without warning their landlords. Tenants must discuss the reasons for moving out with their landlords in mature discussions rather than just leaving. If they haven't already done so, they can offer to lease the house to a dependable individual or provide the landlord with the opportunity to fix the problem. What's more is you could lose money if you do not provide proper notice, as tenants can file a lawsuit against you for failing to provide an adequate notice period. There are several types of lease termination letters, so bear that in mind when you choose to terminate your tenancy contract. The kind of agreement you established and the type of property lease will affect which letter you need to use. Here are different types of lease termination letters. First, you have generic. You should use this letter to terminate month-to-month leases with no set end date. It can also be used for a typical one-year lease. Another type is early. If your lease has a set termination date specified in your agreement, but you want to end it before the lease date, you must utilize an early lease termination letter. Another kind is commercial. It's preferable to create a commercial lease termination letter if a tenancy agreement is formed with a company to utilize the property for business reasons. So now let's move on to what to include in this written notice. A termination letter must be concise, to the point, and formal. Here's what you'll need to include: the names of both parties, a short description of your intention to terminate the lease, the justification for your lease termination, accepting that any early termination fees specified in the lease must be paid, recognizing that when you leave, you'll have to pay the landlord the aforementioned fine, requesting the landlord's inspection schedule for the property. This is for tenants. The lease termination date, provide your current or new phone number and a forwarding address. Make sure to let the landlord know you still have a right to your security deposit. If you're a landlord, it's important not to make promises to return the security deposit. Include the property address and mention that you will clean the rental unit and return the keys for the tenant. You'll also want to include the date, your full name and surname, and be sure to make a copy of this letter and keep it as proof that you've provided proper notice concerning your intention to terminate the lease. So now maybe what you have all been waiting for: how to actually write a lease termination letter. Now keep in mind that these lease termination notices can be sent by either the landlord or the tenant. I'm going to cover the process for both parties below. Here are the steps. First, review the lease agreement. Look over the rental agreement before you begin to write the lease termination letter. You should first determine if your lease is a fixed or month-to-month contract so you can determine the type of lease letter to use. Landlords typically specify a grace period that renters must abide by before terminating month-to-month contracts, often between 30, 60, or 90 days. You can consult your state laws regarding this mandatory notice period if your rental agreement does not include it. The majority of states do require that tenants give their landlord a 30-day notice before breaking the lease. You also must carefully read your rental agreement if you want to break a fixed-term lease early. Some landlords will allow you to leave early as long as you give them a required notice. If the lease doesn't include a section about early termination, tenants will need to speak with their landlord directly. You'll also want to check to see if your lease will be automatically renewed at the conclusion of a specified period. You can still be required to give early notice that you want to end the contract once your lease period has ended, even if the agreement includes a predetermined end date. Step 2, start writing. It's time to draft the lease termination letter once you determined whether you have the right to break your contract. In this, you'll add your full name, the date, the address of your renewal property, and a forwarding address are a few crucial details to mention. Refer to the list I gave earlier for what information you need to include, and it's also important to sign the lease termination letter. Step 3 is to deliver it. It's essential to use the delivery method specified in the lease to deliver your letter. A failure to do so may be considered not providing the tenant or landlord proper notice. Most leases require that the letter be provided to the other party by certified mail or in person. If your lease agreement doesn't specify a delivery method, sending an electronic and physical copy of the lease letter or notice to vacate is best. Be sure to keep a copy for yourself as proof as well. To help you craft the perfect lease termination letter, here are a few tips to keep in mind. Review the lease before drafting this legal document. Check the local laws concerning lease terminations to ensure that you are compliant. Make sure your letter is concise and polite. You'll want to proofread to ensure that nothing is ambiguous. Keep it clear and concise. Ensure that you retain a copy of the letter for your own records. Send your letter as early as possible, and make sure you're using the right delivery method. If you're looking for an easier way to write a lease termination letter, good news is you won't have to create your lease termination letter from scratch. You can simply use DoorLoop's resources to create custom lease letters or take advantage of our free lease termination letter template. You can access those for free with the link in the description. Running a rental business can be tough. There's maintaining the rental property, honoring the terms of the lease, and so much more. The good news is that you can turn to DoorLoop to streamline your business process and ensure you have the right tools at your fingertips when you need them. With an innovative range of features such as rent collection, documentation creation, accounting, and more, you can count on DoorLoop to take care of your everyday business processes. Make sure to click the link in the description for a free demo with DoorLoop. Now, you may have some more questions regarding this topic, and we probably answered those in our blog post. I'm gonna have that link down in the description, so go ahead and click that as well. If this video helped you out, make sure to check out this playlist for more tips, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!